Tinubu has expressed commitment to Nigerians in the diaspora as it calls for diaspora investment in achieving a prosperous nation. The president made this call at the 7th Nigerian Diaspora Investment Summit, which opens in Abuja. Moyo Thomas has more.
Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit is a platform for creating an avenue for prospective and sustainable diaspora investment to help boost economic resurgence in Nigeria. At the 7th edition of the summit, President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, says Nigeria is open for business and committed to providing the support needed for an enabling environment.
We cannot discuss a stable and prosperous nation without discussing security, as no investor wants to invest in an unsecured environment. Recognizing this, we made national security a top priority of this administration.
Nigerians in diaspora official remittance last year was to the tune of $20 billion, only second to oil remittance.
Your contributions extend beyond the monetary investments. Your knowledge, skills, and experiences are invaluable assets.
I should also ask you to take advantage of the Nigeria Global Business Match initiative that enables us to match businesses and investors all over the world with Nigerian businesses.
For Nigerians in the diaspora, the summit has been a great platform for visibility and networking.
Coming back here, we see quite some opportunities. We want to also expand what we're doing in Nigeria. And it's important because also in our outfit and organization, we employ Nigerians outside of here.
This is a good platform for us to showcase the things we're doing for our people in the diaspora because they don't know these things. They are afraid to come. We're letting them know that there's safety.
We've made over the last 7 years, and then we can only get bigger and better. Look at the exhibition. This place can't even take us anymore. So it's about celebrating ourselves. We're a blessed country. We're not saying Nigerians come back. We are saying wherever you are, we can work together. Look at them coming here.
It is expected that with continued investment for social infrastructure, more diaspora investment will be attracted to the country.
Diaspora investment in the country at the moment, though, comes in trickles, but it is in important sectors of the country such as agriculture, health and education, which cannot be ignored. Opportunities for pitching an exhibition such as this will further develop these investments. Moyo Thomas, TVC News, Abuja.
Let's head now to Delta State, where Governor Sheriff Oborori says his administration will take advantage of the strategic potentials of the special agricultural economic zones to create over 50,000 jobs for the well-being and economic prosperity of the people. The governor spoke while receiving officials of the African Development Bank, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, International Institute of Tropical Agriculture, National Cereal Research Institute at the Government House in Asaba. Ikena Meche has more.
By the officials of the African Development Bank to the governor makes it the second this year, and it is an indication that Delta State has scaled through the first hurdle towards accessing the $150 million for the establishment of the Special Agricultural Economic Zone. But there are still more requirements.
Because we needed to know, one, the costs of some of the things we are going to be funding with the bank financing. Two, we are looking at who will be the implementing entity, for which we have also identified the Delta State Economic Zone. And we are actually particularly happy with the structure of the Special Purpose Vehicle of Delta State. And because of that, we are using that also as part of the model that we are pushing in the bank to be able to implement the special agro-industrial processing zones across the state. So we will do a little bit more intensive assessments.
The governor, who commended the bank for shortlisting the state for the program, highlighted the benefits the state will get in having such strategic agricultural initiative.
We are aware of the game-changing potential of this program for food security, agro-processing, employment creation, export earnings, infrastructure development, and its overall effect on the GDP, the well-being and the economic prosperity of our people. Delta State is endowed approximately 17,444 square kilometers of land. Of this, about 328,000 hectares is arable land suitable for cultivation.
Delta State has arable land for sustainable agriculture and food security with comparative advantage in cultivation of crops ranging from cassava, maize, yam, rice, assorted vegetables, and even rubber, which could be grown in commercial quantities. This program, when established, will definitely boost production of these crops. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News, Asaba.
Outside Nigeria now, President Joe Biden has promised a peaceful and orderly transition after Donald Trump won the presidential election. Speaking at the White House, President Biden paid tribute to the vice president's inspiring campaign. In his speech, Mr. Biden's speech was both reassuring for his supporters and conciliatory to his opponents, and that's the point he appears to have made. He also promised to help Donald Trump in the transition between administrations, stressing that the Democrats will accept a peaceful transfer of power, which some might interpret as a jab at his predecessor. His short speech also included a defense of his administration and acknowledgement that the economy may, in large part, have lost Harris the election. Meanwhile, Mr. Trump is weighing appointments to his top team after his decisive election victory. Joining me now for more updates is reporter with Voice of America, Catherine Gibson, joins us live from Washington, D.C. Catherine, thank you for joining us again. President Biden appears to have re-echoed what we had Kamala Harris say during her concession speech at the Howard University. We accept the choice the country has made, and we are committed to a peaceful transition. What should we expect to see happen in the coming days with Biden and Harris still having some 70 days in office?
Well, of course, they're going to be helping President-elect Donald Trump with the transition process. President Biden has invited President Trump to the White House for a meeting. So the peaceful transfer of power is already well underway, which, as you may remember, is a little bit different from last time when Trump handed over the reins of power to Biden. He encouraged his supporters to attack the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, to overturn that electoral process. But here we see Biden and Harris pledging to support Trump because they say it's important to respect the Constitution of the United States and to always put the country over political party.
Exactly what the Obamas are saying. They just released a statement in the same faith saying things may not have gone our way, but we must respect democracy. President Biden appears to have taken a jab at Donald Trump when he said he hopes this election quiets doubts about the integrity of the process and that of election workers, perhaps referring to the misinformation spread by Trump and Republicans about the 2020 election. Do you think this exercise was in any way a referendum for the integrity of elections in America?
Well, I think you'll certainly see more of President Trump's supporters believing in the electoral process and believing that the vote counting was indeed legal. You won't certainly be seeing any complaints from them about this election. But, you know, it remains to be seen if there's a bigger gap in understanding about the electoral process and, quite frankly, the amount of misinformation that's still coming into this country about the election and about some of the candidates. So even though Trump supporters will be happy with this election, there's a bigger question in the United States about electoral misinformation and how we really make sure we're informed as voters in this country.
There are reported stories of protests. Is that something you've heard about?
I haven't heard of any protests anywhere.
All right, in Mr. President's conversation with President-elect Trump, we are hearing that he's now invited the President-elect to a meeting at the White House. Do you expect some awkward moments in the coming days, given the bitter rivalry between both of them?
Well, I think it's always going to be a little bit awkward when one side has lost the election and one side has won it. But I think what we already saw from President Biden this morning in Washington, D.C., is that he was very graceful in defeat, and he really emphasized the principles of the U.S. Constitution, and that no matter what, the peaceful transfer of power is one of the foundational elements of American democracy, and he intends to follow through on that.
Kamala Harris is also constitutionally required to preside over certifying this election. That's another potentially awkward moment. But what's the current situation with the counting? How far is the margin of win for Mr. Trump as we speak?
Well, he's certainly won more than enough electoral college votes to secure the presidency. And as we already heard, Vice President Harris did gracefully concede to him at Howard University yesterday. So, well, of course, it will be awkward to be sitting there and having lost the presidency. We already know that the Biden administration is going to facilitate that peaceful transfer of power.
Voice of America reporter Catherine Gibson, thank you so much for your thoughts.
You're welcome.
We'll return with business news after this break. Stay with us.